Hello, this is a review sheet to help you with your quiz 3 that's coming up. If you look in your course and go to week 7, here's week 7. And week 7, these are the things that's due for week 7. Notice you got your unit 3 review that you're going to put in this Dropbox. Also, you need to, after you finish submitting that, you need to go to your assessment and take your quiz 3. Okay, so the material is in this review sheet. I want to go over this with you for a second. There's several topics here that you'll need to be able to understand. In statistics, we're going to be talking about uniform probability. And the uniform probability is in the shape of a rectangle. And the probability corresponds to area. So we're reviewing the concept of area to help you out in the statistics course. This will be in your unit 3 in statistics. So notice the formula for the area of a rectangle is area equals length times width. And notice that area has square measurements, so notice like feet squared or square feet. The perimeter of the rectangle is where you add all the sides. Here's the perimeter formula. Perimeter equals twice the length plus twice the width, because you can see that in this you have a width and a width. So there's 2 of them, and then you have length and length. So notice the perimeter is twice the length plus twice the width. So they're going to ask you to find the area and the perimeter of this rectangle. What you want to do is you want to label your sides. So notice it's 3 meters by 0.6 meters. Your length is the longest side, so notice length is going to be a 3 and a 3. The width is going to be 0.6, 0.6. I expect you to write these on here, and then I want you to write down your formula and use it. Okay? I want you to show your work. If you don't show your work, you won't receive full credit. So please write down your formulas, fill in the blanks, and then work, and then be sure to place your measurements on those. The next thing, it says to convert from a fraction to a decimal to a percent, you first convert the fraction to a decimal by dividing. And so we're reviewing this again. You've had this previous, but notice if I want to convert 5/6 to a decimal, I have to take my calculator and do 5 divided by 6 on the calculator. And when you do, it comes up 0.83 repeating. And if you're asked to round to the nearest thousands, it would be 3 decimal places. Notice the 3rd place right there. Okay, so I look beside it, it's not 5 or higher, so I drop these numbers off. So notice there's my answer, 0.833. To convert to a percentage, you take that number and you multiply by 100. So if I multiply by 100, this takes and moves the decimal 2 places. Okay, so they're going to ask you to convert to a decimal, round to the nearest thousand, and then convert to a percentage. Be sure you do all the parts that I ask you to do. Okay, the next thing asks you to approximate a square root using the square root key on the calculator. And notice it says you're going to push the 2nd button and then the x squared button on the calculator. So for instance, this says find the square root of 44. So on the calculator, I'm going to first turn it on. If I can find, here we go, turn it on. I'm going to push clear. Now I'm going to do 2nd and x squared. Notice that's the square root symbol. And then I'm just going to type in 44. And I'm going to close my parentheses so it looks like that. And then I'm going to push the enter key. And notice there's the square root of 44. So they're going to ask you to take your calculator and find the square root of 44 and then round to 3 decimal places. So be sure you can do that. Okay, the next thing, it says, in a linear equation, y equals mx plus b, m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, identify the slope and the y-intercept. So notice, any number that is in front of the x value is the slope. So in our particular problem, you're looking for the number that's in front of the x value to be the slope. The y-intercept is the n number, the number on the end. So notice you write it as 0, comma, whatever the n number is, because y-intercept's an ordered pair. So you can see what our value should be. You're going to write those two things out. It says identify the slope. So you'll say m equals whatever's in front of your x value. And then the y-intercept is going to be 0, comma, whatever number's on the end. Okay, the next thing. It says use the slope and the y-intercept of the linear equation to graph. So now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to come over here, look at this, and you're going to write down your slope and your y-intercept. Okay, so notice in this, my slope is -3/4. So in this box, I'm going to write -3/4. Okay, then my y-intercept is the number on the end, but remember I write it as 0, comma, -3. So I'm going to come over here at 0, comma, -3. And then notice it says plot the y-intercept on the plane. This will be your first point. Now what that's talking about, this is an axis. And on the axis, you will be placing the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 0, -3. So that means I go over to 0 and down 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put a dot right there. Let me place that. Whoops, my pen's not working. Okay, so I have 0, -3. Now, the next thing is use the slope to find another point. So now you use slope is rise over run. If the numerator is positive, you go up from the y-intercept. If it's negative, you go down. In our particular one, it's a -3. That means from that point, I'm going to go down 3 spaces. And then to the right, I'll end up going the same number as the denominator. Okay, so in this particular one, and it tells you how to do this, notice if the numerator is positive, go up from the y-intercept. If it's negative, go down. So notice I have -3. So I'm going to count 3 spaces down. 1, 2, 3. Do not put a point there. Now use your denominator. That was our numerator going down 3. Our denominator is +4, so we're going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a point right here. Right there. Notice we went down 3 over 4. If it had been a positive value on the numerator, we would have went up and to the right. So now what happens is I have these 2 points, and I can draw a straight line through those. So let me find a straight edge, and I'm going to draw this. Maybe. Hold on just a second. Let's see if I can get this straight. So what happens is it looks like this. Okay, so let me draw this just a second. Maybe if I can do a straight line. Okay, so notice there's our line that goes through our points. So what we've done, we've used our equation to graph using the slope and the y-intercept. You're going to be using this when you get into linear regression in Unit 2. You'll be doing linear regression. Okay, number 6. So be sure that you do this on your paper. You plot your points, draw your line. You should have 2 points, and be sure to fill in the blanks. Okay, number 6, this. Plot the following points on a number line. Convert the fractions to whole numbers or decimals. And it says first you do this by dividing the numerator by the denominator. After plotting the points, write the values in descending order. So you're going to take like 9 over 9 and divide that. You get 9 over 9 is 1. You're going to plot that point on the number line, but you're not going it'd be right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to write under it 9 over 9. Notice there was a 0. I need to plot that one. And so you do this for each one. They want you to place these in order, okay? And so that's how you go about plotting those points, is just convert them to decimal if you have to. Notice 9 over 2, you're going to take your calculator and divide 9 divided by 2. Okay, next thing. So then they're going to give you some decimals, and they're going to ask you to write those in descending order. That is, descending means high to low, okay? Notice, make them have the same number of decimal places. So like you see the largest one has 3 decimal places, make all the others have 3 decimal places, and then write them in descending order, the highest to the lowest, okay? It's like place them on a number line. Okay, the next part is going to ask you to go through and write down A, B, all the way through F, and write the ordered pair for each one. Now, when we list ordered pairs, you do your X value first and then the Y. So for instance, if I'm looking at A, I'm going to go over -4 and down -4. So on my paper, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write A. Whoops, if I can find where I'm at. There we are. I'm going to write A equals, and in parentheses, because you got to write order pair, -4, comma, -4, and close parentheses. You're going to do this for each one of these. But remember, you always do your X value first, go over, and then up or down. Right or left, up or down. So, like if I was doing E, I would go over 2, up 4. So 2, 4. That's your order pair. Okay. Now, number 9. Number 9 says, determine if the order pair is a solution to this linear equation. Remember, I told you order pair is X and Y. So above the 2, that's my X. Above the -6, that's my Y. Everywhere I have an X and a Y over here, I'm going to fill these values in and work it. So I've given you a blank space down here. So notice the first one's Y. You're going to take this -6 and plug it right here. And then notice the X is after the -6 in this one, so we're going to plug in 2. We're going to work this right side and see if it equals the left side. That's how you check to see if a point is a solution. Okay, now last on this, we're going to construct a table. And they give you an equation. You're just going to take your X value, plug it in. So like Y equals 4 times -2 plus 1. And you're going to complete your table. So notice if I plug in -2, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do 4 times -2 be -8 plus 1. So I'm going to have Y equals, well, we have 4 times -2. And then I have plus 1. That's -8 plus 1. So my Y equals -7. So in my box, I'm going to come and write -7. I'm going to do parentheses, -2, comma, -7. And then you're going to do that for each one of these, okay, and complete this table. Okay, notice this, complete this table, so they're going to ask you to do the same thing. Go plug in 1 for X and solve for Y. Plug in -2 for Y and solve for X, okay? So try completing that table. So this is the review for your Unit 2 test. I meant Unit 3 test. So make sure after our quiz, I'm sorry, Unit 3 quiz, we don't have tests in this. So be sure to finish this review, put it in the Dropbox, submit it in the appropriate Dropbox, and then your quiz will open up in eLearn. Thanks.